Could your attachment style be repelling your current partner or the partners that you've lost in the past? It's actually possible. Some attachment styles do actively repel each other. Even if they attract each other at first, it turns into this frenzy that explodes. If you've had some bad breakups in the past, you need to learn about this pattern because you could be losing people you're either compatible with on a deeper level, or you could be actively attracting people that you're going to later repel. So let's talk up today about different attachment styles and how they interact with each other. How sometimes it's fire and gasoline, sometimes it's fire and more fire, and then how to turn it into a beautiful, harmonious relationship that actually attracts and pulls in the right people and then helps you keep them in your life. Today, we're going to cover everything about those attachment styles. And all of the information I'm going to share with you here today is also available on my website, adamlanesmith.com, including resources that you can use to boost your connection with other people, to have better conversations, deeper compatibility, and not accidentally sabotage your relationships. If you need coaching, you need a course, you need a book, it's on my website at adamlanesmith.com. So today, attachment styles that repel other people and create explosions. Let's dive into this one. The anxious attachment style on its surface looks like one that's going to pull people in and isn't going to be much of a problem for anybody. Anxious attachment is the belief that you have something wrong with you on the inside that makes you unlovable. This sucks, and it sucks for you, and nobody else knows how secretly unhappy you are on the inside. Why is this a problem? Well, if you believe you don't deserve to be loved, you still need to get your needs met in a relationship. What you're going to do is find people who make you feel loved and make you feel good about yourself because you don't know how to feel good in your own right. You're also going to be earning approval from other people by doing 10 nice things for them, hoping that they will love you enough to stay with you and not abandon you. You are going to be setting up a relationship that is endless acts of service without ever telling the other person explicitly what you are hoping to get in return. You can see how this is setting you up for pain down the long run. But especially, this is what really happens is the anxious person doesn't necessarily repel securely attached people. They might run away from them over time, but what's really going to happen is you're going to flag for disinterest. You will think other people who have secure attachment are not interested in you, or you may actually be repelled from them. That's the biggest problem with anxious attachment style, is that they repel you. So if you have found yourself not liking yourself very much, you think you are the problem in your relationships, if you have anxious attachment style, you may actively repel secure people away from you without them even meaning to, but you'll track it as if they don't actually want to be around you. This might be setting up a self-fulfilling bias in your life that you believe nobody else cares about you or wants you around because you've actively repelled them. Now, you are going to specifically attract somebody called an avoidant attachment style. And anyone out there who has avoidant attachment style, your belief is that other people are incapable of acting unselfishly. Everybody is built on a selfish meter of good and bad feelings that fills up and then makes them act positively, or depletes and makes them act badly. So if someone's emotions deplete badly enough, they will become actively selfish and hostile towards you. You have to constantly top up people's good feelings or manage them through fear, manipulative style of avoidant, manage them through fear so that they will be driven even when their feelings are bad to do what you want them to do. This is where gaslighting and manipulation, stuff like that comes in. And again, not even close to all avoidant people use that. Most avoidant people are not that way at all. They use good tactics to try to make other people feel good, hoping those people won't turn on them and betray them when it really counts. This style right here, the avoidant style, initially love bombs, usually, the anxious style and says, you're great, you're wonderful, I can't wait to be with you, you're fantastic. Sometimes they just give them good feelings, and don't mean to manipulate them. And the anxious person drinks it up and they attract like gigantic magnets and they just hold together. And the anxious person begins chasing and craving more validation from the avoidant person, who then says, good God, what have I done? And starts fleeing for the hills. So about 7-8 months into the relationship, they switch from attracting to repelling, where the anxious person begins obsessively, like a heroin junkie, chasing that next fix, and the avoidant person running away. So if you have had somebody love you overwhelmingly for the first 7 or 8 months, and then suddenly it switched, I just don't know if I'm in love with you anymore. I just don't know if I'm right for a relationship. I just think I'm going to hurt you. I just think I'm not right. It's just not quite feeling right. That may be what's happening, is you have switched to actively repelling them, feeling the craving. You're overwhelmed with the need, and they're overwhelmed with you being overwhelmed. It does not mean there's something wrong with you. This is where a lot of anxious people jump in and say, say, this is proof that there's something unlovable about me. Then they chase the avoidant person for validation and say, like, say it isn't so, please tell me I'm not really unlovable. And that's really common for that process to kick in right there, which makes the avoidant person more terrified and more smothered, and they run and run and run. Now, the avoidant person repels pretty much everybody, except the avoidant person may accidentally get super attracted to someone who is disorganized style, someone who can out-avoidant them, someone who saturates them with enough love bombing and looks avoidant on the surface and then gets in under their skin and knows what an avoidant is like. They may not even do this on purpose, but an avoidant person will only usually get outplayed by someone with more avoidance than they have, and it's usually the blend or of some sort of personality disorder. That's a whole other territory. But this is what avoidant people do, and they will actively usually be repelled or repel most other people because their terror is being too open and connected with other people and then getting hurt. So these attachment styles, you can see this endless dance. The disorganized style, the blend of both anxious and attachment, they attract everybody at first, and then when things start feeling too good, they get scared, and then they actively push everybody away. That's the disorganized style, is to actively push everybody away eventually. Attract, pull in, explode, push out. Feel bad about it, attract and throw the switch again, pull in, explode, push out as they get scared. It's that process of push and pull and push and pull. This is the way that these relationships work, unfortunately, with the broken attachment styles. Now, you might be wondering, what does a secure person do that's different from this? Secure people don't actually attract or repel anybody. Secure people enter into a relationship and start talking and testing if they are right for each other. Now, I could say that they attract each other, but that's not quite right. They talk and they choose, act consciously to get into a deeper relationship with each other. They say, yeah, you're pretty cool. I will open up to you a bit more. Yeah, you're pretty cool. I will spend more time with you. It is a bit more of a conscious, not fully conscious, but more of a conscious decision to allow that person in based on what you have seen and experienced for stability, moral contact, moral fiber, inner core values, principles, lifelong goals, deeper compatibility tests. This is the problem, is the three insecure attachment styles, they don't filter for true compatibility. They filter based on feelings. The anxious person filters based on how the other person makes them feel. The disorganized person filters based on how they make others feel and how they feel. And the anxious person filters based on how they can make others feel. All three of those are based on feelings instead of true compatibility. This is why it tends to switch very quickly to actively repelling if it starts off with attraction in the first place. Anxious attracts first, creates problems later. Avoidant pushes away and repels first, or then begrudgingly connects and then forms problems, and then forms bigger problems later. And the disorganized style does both over and over and over. That's it. So how do we fix this? Let's jump right into that part next. So I offer private coaching to do this process because so many people need help as they navigate switching from repelling to attracting or from choosing to connect. Here are some tips that I show inside my coaching practice that you can benefit from right now. With anxiously attached people, what I guide them through is a process called the I am an anxious person speech, which guides them through opening up to other people and saying, you may not know this about me, but I'm an anxious person. And the other person usually says, yeah, duh, I get that. But it's the purpose of opening up and saying, I don't feel like I deserve to be loved. I think there's something wrong with me. And if I expose who I am, you're going to see that I'm a fraud. Right now, as I'm having this talk with you, I feel like I'm finally opening up. And by the end of this, you will be disgusted with me and you won't want to be my friend because I'm a problem. But I'm getting my trust in you and putting my trust in you because I think you are a good person. And I actually believe that you are capable of more than that. So I need to test this. So please bear with me. Usually they're reading this off a note card. And the other person's like, and I guide them through that process and they have that talk and they do that with 3 key people in their life. And what they learn is they will not be abandoned for exposing how they really feel. Who they really are will not get them abandoned. Who they really are actually is going to bring people closer to them because they are revealing the truth when it hurts, and the other person will choose to take a conscious step toward them and connect deeper because now they see that that other person will be honest with them about the things that really count. They gain respect based on who they really are and the choice that they have made. That begins healing that anxious attachment style. So instead of accidentally only attracting those avoidant people out here who will never get too close, they are now actively pulling in and intentionally connecting with more secure people who know who they are. And it's not going to be this endless chase and repel and run and escape and scream. It's not going to be that endless chase anymore. It's going to be intentional connection. Now, with avoidant people who come into my coaching practice, they're a bit slower to connect and trust because they even think I'm here to scam them and lie to them. But as they learn, no, Adam's consistent. He's actually teaching us attachment. Check out my 300 videos on my YouTube channel. That, in turn, connects to, okay, maybe I can trust one person. So they start talking to me and I say, look, here is why you never learn to trust other people. If you want to trust them, who are some good people in your life? And it's amazing. Most avoidant people have 2 or 3 people in their life. They say, well, they're pretty good people. I've just never opened up because I think I'm going to be a problem. I'm going to deplete that good feeling measure. I'm going to overstep my bounds. They're not going to want to be around me. And even if I do think that it's okay, I'm still so afraid that I cannot bring myself to do it. Okay. I teach them some processes to manage their anxiety so it's low enough that they can then go have that talk and say, look, I have stayed away from relationships because it's hard for me to trust, but I'm going to choose to trust you based on these couple of things that are good about you that I respect. I want to know, is it okay with you if I open up more? Is that going to create a burden? Am I going to create a problem? Or are you actually going to like that more? Do you want that from me? Do you want a deeper connection? And are you really sure? And then when I have that conversation, they do it and they feel amazing, but then they feel scared like they've always overshared. So they have to go back and I send them back with a second conversation. Do you really mean it? How much sharing is too much? When is it too much? Would you tell me it was too much? Getting that reassurance that they're not about to have someone flip on them because their love meter, their good feelings meter has gone too low. Building that in so that the avoidant person can have a frank discussion with the other person without playing those games, that's a major factor for fixing avoidant attachment. Now, disorganized style. I just had a client call me today saying, hey, look, I need help. I'm scheduling my first session with you. And also my partner has disorganized attachment style. And I said, yeah, that's like fire and more fire. So we have to build in a careful system to educate both of you at the same time and then guide you both through the process of fixing it and fix it with 1 or 2 other family members in your life so that you anchor in and neither one of you can sabotage in either direction. That's the biggest problem with the disorganized style, the blend of anxious and avoidant, is they can sabotage themselves or the relationship. They can burn it down and run. They can make it worse on themselves. They don't even know what direction they're going to go. So they're usually full of fear, which then turns to anger because that feels more powerful. Fixing that means deep education for both partners, building a collaborative framework to solve conflicts together in a more cooperative way, and building in that conflict resolution into their daily life through practice so that if one of them spikes, the other can go, oh, wait a minute. I'm not your enemy. I'm here to help you. Remember the stuff we've been working on? I'm ready to do that with you. And they can help catch each other. And if they don't, one of their other people that they've built into accountability can do it. And if they can't, me as the coach, they can come in, I can call them on it and guide them through the troubleshooting process. This is what the disorganized style needs. And it's very rare that 2 disorganized link up, but when it does, you need some direct professional help. So these are some of the processes for fixing these attachment issues. So you no longer repel the people in your life that would actually love you. You attract those people. In fact, you pull them in through intentional connection where it's not just mindless attraction. It's a choice to trust each other. When you make that choice and when they make that choice, that's when your attachment styles really change and you build deeper connections that last for life. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that coaching link right here. Go ahead and click that if you're looking for a coaching session with me. I'm also going to drop it down in the description below if you need some help with this. Fixing your attachment style means that you will no longer be repelling the people that would give you the best relationships. This breaks you out of that self-fulfilling prophecy circle of the bias that you've created where you're stuck. You're stuck and say, everybody has been the same. Why would I trust that it's going to be different? It's because you are actively attracting and repelling the wrong people in your life. You need to be building deeper, intimate, intentional connections with those people. This is how you do that. But you must change the relationships attachment styles that you have held on to since childhood. Those are making your decisions. That's why you're repelling the people that you need the most in your life, the people that would help you heal. You've been actively pushing away your healing for your entire life without even realizing it. That's the power of fixing your attachment style, and that's why becoming secure is so important, because it builds in a deeper framework for better connection for life. Then, when you go into your dating relationships, for example, you connect with a partner and you can say, look, here's my needs. Here's what I want from you. Can you take care of this? What's your needs? I can take care of that. Let's take care of each other. Everything's on the surface. Okay. Hey, here's what would make me break up with you. This right here. Anything outside of this, you don't need to worry about it. It might irritate me, but this is what would make me break up with you. What would make you break up with me? How can we talk about that so we never do that? Okay. That's where it is. Okay, what would actually make you feel loved and fulfilled? And how measurable is that? How often? Tell me. Help me understand what you need from me. And then here's what would make me feel fulfilled and loved and cared for this often at this point. And I don't think you're doing it just to mess with me and just to hurt me or control me. I know that you're doing it because you love me. It becomes this easy. This is how relationships become when you stop repelling the people who would do this and you stop attracting the people who want to play the same games that you've probably been playing yourself. Now, if all of this is making some sense, what I suggest you do right now is actually learn about a process called love bombing. Love bombing is one process that avoidant people use to connect with anxious people, and anxious people seek it in avoidant people. So click back on my channel. I'm going to put a link probably right over here that's going to say love bombing and what love bombing does to your relationship or to your partner. I want to put that love bombing video right there, and you need to check that out because that's a major part of the process that's keeping you stuck attracting the wrong partners. And after you watch that video, check my website, adamlanesmith.com, because I have all those resources for you. And remember, my coaching link is dropped down below in the description. Here's what I'd love from you right now. Make sure you subscribe and drop me a comment below that tells me which attachment style you are starting at right now. Who are you attracting and who do you want to attract? Throw that information down there. Hopefully we get some honest people who are going to throw me some answers because I love hearing from you guys. But let me know what you're dealing with right now and what you want to break.